alone in his presentation this morning. He has a virtual partner with him, Scott, who couldn't make it in person, but his work is here. And what we're going to talk about today is how a brand, a big brand, can connect with its audience using modern media. Jack is here to talk about the Coca-Cola experience, how Coca-Cola, having somehow lost its relationship with its audience, managed to get it back. Jack, fascinating to hear what you've got to say. Welcome.
Thank you, Patience. And let me extend Scott McCune's apologies for being stuck in London. I'm not sure if he's missing this event, which I know he's sorry not to be here, but I think he's also missing an opportunity to play golf with his Coca-Cola Japanese colleagues at Augusta National. With that, this presentation, as Patience said, is really two parts. The front part is Scott's. So indulge me if I do my best to speak on behalf of my client. And if I stumble a little bit on Scott's words, I think he'll understand. And the second half is a little bit about our contribution. But I'm really making that contribution not just for VivaKi, Publicis Group, but for really all the agency partners with Coca-Cola. So, let me begin by talking a little bit about Coca-Cola and the situation. And you might already be thinking this, that Coca-Cola is, if not one of the most recognized brands in the universe. So, from a media perspective, you would just check the box. And sure, if you measured our success in terms of awareness, that would be true. But in a funny way, awareness is really Coke's problem, not its triumph. With 450 brands operating in 206 countries and 2 million retailers selling over 1.6 billion servings of Coke products a day, 18,000 servings per second, it's hard to find a brand more ubiquitous than Coca-Cola. And it operates at about a 95% awareness factor. So if ubiquity is an edge, it's truly double-sided. The challenge that's unique for Coca-Cola is how to break through from the clutter of consistency. How to move Coke from perpetual to preferred, from incessant to irreplaceable, and from broad-based to beloved. Now, across 200 countries, it's a full spectrum of countries and disparate markets to accomplish this. And don't forget, one of Coke's primary targets tend to be young adults and teens who are highly skeptical and passionate ad avoiders. But at the end of the day, the goal remains the same. How to get consumers and key constituents to fall in love with Coca-Cola brands and to change their attitudes and their behaviors in a way that really would drive brand value. Now, when Muhtar Kent led the 2020 Vision Project for Coca-Cola, he really shaped a roadmap for winning in a redefined future. Looking ahead, he saw a world in which consumers make purchasing decisions that are based as much on the content of Coca-Cola's character as on the content and taste of its beverages. A world where the vast majority of consumers identify themselves as environmentally conscious and expect the same from the brands they use. It's a world where more and more marketing and communications take place on digital platforms and at the point of sale. And a world where more outlets are customized to their neighborhoods, where channel strategies have been redefined to a science. Now, Coke's goals are quite ambitious as a result of that roadmap. They want to double system revenue while increasing system margins. And that means doubling the servings to over 3 billion a day by 2020. They want to become one of the world's premier employers. They want to attain global leadership in corporate sustainability. They need to manage people, time, and money for greatest effectiveness, and they want to ensure that it is the most preferred and trusted beverage partner. Now, obviously, in 2020, this work that Muhtar, the roadmap Muhtar laid out, has implications across the entire Coke organization. But really, for purposes of this conversation, I think what Scott would want to focus on is how the work helped Coca-Cola understand that marketing and innovation has a bigger role than ever in its future, and that Coca-Cola is truly a marketing system, and it is fast at work to ensure that marketing is not only the best in the industry, but among the best work in the world. Now, finding the most innovative ways to market is really the focus of our conversation this morning, both Scott's part and my part. And at the Coca-Cola Company, the marketing vision is delivered through IMC, or Integrated Marketing Communications, and their connections planning. The Coca-Cola way of marketing encompasses a rigorous and disciplined process, but the headlines are actually quite clear. Success pivots on Coke's ability to know people. It pivots on the ability to pursue a much broader definition of content, and it pivots on a redefinition, in fact, of connections themselves. Because at the end of the day, it's about creating emotional relationships that lead to brand love. Coke understands that it's most successful at creating emotional experiences when they tap into consumer passions, when they develop unique experiences around those passions, and they do it with exciting and proprietary content. Now, to do this consistently and in a sustainable fashion, I know that Scott and Coca-Cola would tell you that they need help. If you were standing here, he'd tell you that Coca-Cola doesn't get to this position and their future vision on their own. They need partners of all shapes and sizes. And it's an approach to IMC that means they work with many experts, and one of those being VivaKi, Publicis Group, and in this particular case, the Starcom MediaVest Group, as one of those partners. I'm going to move over to my bit now. As we map our behavior and process to Coke's DNA, we too need to align our agency structure to deliver human passions, redefine content, new connections, and experiences, activated all in the pursuit of Coke brand love. And perhaps the best way to explain how SMG has been responding to Coke is to share a few success stories. And I'm going to let most of the work speak for itself. I'm going to show you 3 examples, a couple from SMG and one from Ignition, which is another important Coca-Cola ad agency and partner, and how we responded to the 2020 challenge. I think you'll see that in each case, it represents a blend of old and new, traditional and emerging, analog and digital, and they bring it all together inside the agency. And by that, physically blending teams, skill sets, and capabilities, and that we've achieved, with our hope that we've achieved a more seamless integration of our work. Now, the first one I want to share with you is Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year travels the spectrum of passions to deliver new content and connections. It's clearly driven by insights, not hard data, as much as local knowledge of people and their passion for culture. Now, one thing that we've done internally is to transform our service teams on Coca-Cola into hubs, if you will, putting various disciplines together where they sit and work alongside each other. And I believe that because the Coke team in China works in such harmony, that the distance between insight and idea has been shortened significantly, and that the close proximity of planner and buyer has led to a more seamless activation of ideas into content, channels, and experiences. Now, Chinese New Year is the biggest and most important festival in China by far, a time of celebration and a family gathering. And Chinese people share deep emotional connection to this particular time of year. Now, coming out of a tumultuous year of extraordinary highs with the Olympics and lows with the devastating storms and earthquakes, the 2009 celebration was particularly momentous. So Coke found a small, symbolic way of passing on hope and optimism for the year, ahead of the year, by creating a modern ritual. And please take a look.
The 2009 Chinese New Year celebration was imbued with renewed meaning and importance for the Chinese people to reconnect with their loved ones. We drew on Coca-Cola's history of positivity and hope and saw a human purpose for Coca-Cola in its moment. Imagine if Coca-Cola could create a ritual, act as a bridge between people, and the a catalyst for renewal and human connection. And so, the first Coke of the Year was born. Coca-Cola invited the Chinese people to share their first Coke of the Year with special someone, as a small yet symbolic way of passing on hope and goodwill in the new year to come. This was brought to life by a moving film, which aired on TV and online, featuring the world-famous Chinese athlete Liu Xiang and his father. Liu Xiang is a controversial figure whose Olympic breakdown burned into the national consciousness and drew the attention of the worldwide media.
我不会忘记我爸跟我讲的。你知道爸爸多少难吗？10万个月光。只不过是又一个男孩而已。今年第一瓶可口可乐，我一定要跟爸爸分享。你想与谁分享今年第一瓶可口可乐？
This was supported by a celebrity-studded New Year launch event and a PR coup by Chinese basketball legend Yao Ming visiting Liu Xiang during his recovery period to share with him his first Coke of the Year. The second act, allowing people to share their first Coke of the Year. We invited the public to participate, offered them to give the first Coke of the Year to the person of their choice. In-store, online, and by mobile. The Chinese people's response to the first Coke of the Year online experience was breathtaking. There were over 72 million page views, over 5 million stories submitted, and more than 16 million e-cards sent. The campaign generated huge PR power locally and internationally, reaching over $10 million of ad value. While the participating numbers were astounding, it was the depth of the work, the heartfelt emotions and the creativity the Chinese people poured into the stories and videos about their first Coke of the Year that was most significant. Coca-Cola became an integral part of this Chinese New Year. We were able to become a change agent for people's behavior, and so an old tradition is refreshed and a new ritual is born.
Give you a bit of a case study in the second example, which is about new content and experiences, really delivered through new approaches, skill sets, and partnerships. So the next story I'm about to share with you is based on a core creative idea, I think you're pretty familiar with anyway, built around the happiness of drinking Coca-Cola. Born through television, we needed to take an idea of happiness into unexpected places and spaces. Again, physical proximity of buyers and cleaners allowed us to help paint an idea across the broader canvas. And the success story, however, was also fueled by new types of talent that comprised the Coke team within SMG. Now, first, there's more digital talent. And I really mean digital talent that's much more than data jockeys or code writers or technicians. Here, digital people are strategic thinkers who nurture a deep understanding of people's web-based behavior and their content expectations. And because we re-engineered ourselves, SMG has re-engineered itself, I should say, as a human experience agency, they're seeking people who I guess I would describe as alchemists. And by alchemists, I really mean by a kind of a unique blend of talent that may not really exist in abundance in our industry today. It's the kind of talent where content and contact blur in terms of into one single integration. It requires like a hybrid idea facilitator, a creative thinker, if you will, with media sensitivity, contact experts who can think experientially. These are media agnostic, strategic architects who leverage a rich palette of opportunities and partnerships to explore and create fresh and unexpected touchpoints. Now, in Italy, just such a team approached one of our new age business partners, Microsoft, and brought the Happiness Factory to life. And the Happiness Factory being a fantasy world within Coke vending machines, where workers work through an assembly line to produce bottles of Coca-Cola filled with nothing less than happiness. And with Microsoft, we were able to create new levels of this world. if I can, I'll show you a brief film.
Traditional advertising is no longer enough. Microsoft Advertising presents a special project created for Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has chosen the MSN and Windows Live network to let users discover the magic of the Happiness Factory. The online communication strategy has been articulated in 2 phases: film launch and now hiring. To take users to the Coca-Cola site and find the film created especially for the online audience, advertising and editorial drivers have been used, as if Happiness Factory were a cinematographic product. Making the most of the integration of the MSN channels, the film's special contents and characters have had maximum visibility within MSN homepage, MSN Entertainment, MSN Video. The 18th of February, the day of the great launch, the MSN homepage hosted the Happiness Factory event, generating record figures: 13.5 million impressions, more than 142,000 clicks. 11% click-through rate for the overlay. MSN Entertainment hosted the creation of a co-branded microsite where one can find all the details of the film and an exclusive photo gallery. MSN Video, in the cinema section, in only 2 weeks, over 13,500 users saw the trailer integrated as editorial content in streaming. Special editorial promos have been displayed on MSN and Windows Live for all the phases of the launch. But the Happiness Factory promotion does not finish here. From the 9th to the 31st of March, the second phase of the project, now hiring. Password: recruitment, to let the users experience the working life in the factory. In the co-branded microsite, through a funny personality test, each user discovers the role that is most congenial to them among the factory's 4 most important working profiles. Chino Inc., Kappa, Kissy Puppy, and Waterman. Many Windows Live gadgets with the film's look and feel to download at once. To customize the Windows Live Spaces pages, a magnificent background, and a digital block note to download, even to the Windows Vista desktop. And on Windows Live Messenger, the emoticon pack, to communicate to the other HF workers through entertaining emoticon. And not just this, Coca-Cola's inimitable limited edition personal expression. Dynamic personal images to immediately identify task. What about the results? More than 600,000 gadgets and Windows Live Messenger personal expressions downloaded by the users. The MSN microsite generated 730,000 page views. The community has grown day by day. Every user is inserted in a virtual map that traces the growth of the community. More than 21,000 push pins have appeared on Microsoft Virtual Earth maps in only 1 week. The whole network has been invaded by personalized banners and editorial promos that have contributed to making this campaign an extraordinary success in terms of visibility, participation, and engagement.
Now, if I may, I'm going to give a third case study, and it's really part of the Coca-Cola Company's first truly global IMC initiative. They've been working on the utilization of the FIFA World Cup for more than 2 years. It started with deep consumer research and understanding the meaning of the first global event on the continent of Africa, and as well as football passion around the world and the role that Coca-Cola should play in this new communication communications landscape. With really keen insights, I think the Coca-Cola client in particular drove and developed a strong core idea. And that was to release your African rhythm, refresh yourself with a Coke. And it manifested into a campaign idea of what's your celebration. Coke gathered 8 agency partners with expertise in the key amplification areas: digital, shopper, PR, experiential, video, connection planning, music, and viral. And it asked them and asked us to work in an entirely new way. This was called, by Scott's words, mass collaboration for the good of the brand.